My name is Julie Sufana, and I'm Chief Marketing Officer at contextflow.
You've acted on stage and now you pitch radiology AI to the world. How do performance skills help you bring complex medical AI stories to life?
So the background on that is I lived for 14 years in Los Angeles, so I was doing acting and balancing a office career at the same time. And when I left, I really thought I'm never going to use these skills again. Like, what a waste of time. But as it turns out, I use them all the time. The ability to tell a story, right, of whatever it is that you're building or putting out into the market is something that I realize not everyone has. And then really that decade or so of training and acting enables me to kind of say, okay, but what's the big picture, or what's the through line for these different ideas, and just break it down into a simple pitch or story that pretty much anyone can understand. So storytelling is definitely one side of things. And then the other is, the performance aspect of it. When you do a pitch, you may be on stage. Nowadays, a lot of it's on camera, but you still have to know kind of your lines and what you want to say and what your costume or your clothing is going to look like for that day. And it's something that I know a lot of people, it makes them very, very nervous. But on the flip side of being nervous is being excited. And I just am really excited always to get to pitch, and kind of brings together both the more analytical and the more creative sides of my brain together. And that's part of what makes my job really fun.
I couldn't help but notice, but when you joined contextflow, you were the first woman in your team. So do you feel pressure to, represent more than just yourself? Or maybe, how did you navigate that?
So I was actually the first woman, not even just on a team, just the first woman at the company at contextflow. I don't actually think I knew that when they hired me, which was probably a good thing. And it was kind of funny that when I didn't feel so much pressure to act a certain way, but it was interesting to observe my male colleagues. In the first week, they were like, oh, should we open the door for you, or should we let you order first at a restaurant? Like, they were trying to be nice and like aware that this was new, but maybe they kind of almost like over compensated. I was like, hey, I don't care who orders at the restaurant first, and I can open my own doors. I think I'm just really lucky that I work with a bunch of guys who are fairly socially aware to those type of topics, and that we can have really open conversations. And I've had to figure out my own way of like what leadership means to me and how I want to show up in conversations with my colleagues, which is it's not solely based on gender. That definitely applies to it, but it's really just me like finding my voice. So I never felt the pressure to act one way or the other. It's more like an exploration of what feels good and true to me, but also makes me effective in the workplace.
And you balance around 30 to 40 events a year. You do yoga, you also write a lot. So, how do you do all of this?
I don't know. I think I was born with a lot of energy. So to be clear, we do attend around 30, 40 events as contextflow a year. Thankfully, I don't have to go to every single one of them. I just have to organize them. And also, thankfully, they're not all as big as RSNA or ECR, of course. I have done some personality tests, and I rank pretty high on operational tasks and the relational, the more emotional side of things. But from an operational perspective, I'm just very good at kind of keeping all the details in line and having documents and communicating who needs what and has this been done yet. For me, that just kind of comes second nature. The yoga is definitely something that my body will tell me if I haven't done it. So like I have to. That just is to me part of like, I don't know, just my daily routine, so to speak. And writing is something that I do a little bit on LinkedIn. I do like to be active there. But it doesn't feel like a burden or like a task. It's more just like, hey, I'm doing something cool, or I have information that I want to share. I like to see what other people are doing. So I think the through line of those three things that you mentioned, so events and yoga and writing, or just everything else, is like, these are things that are meaningful to me, that I am good at, so it doesn't feel so much like work. It's just part of my basic routine.
That does make sense. So as a woman in AI, what do you think is your superpower or the thing that you bring to the table that AI never can?
Especially in our domain, right? People are always asking about, is AI going to replace the radiologist? And the argument that we always make is, well, you're a human and no one can replace the human qualities that we possess 100%. I think as a superpower is really something that I hinted at before, which is really, I'm a very empathic person. I've done a lot of leadership training, therapy, coaching. I try to be really self-reflective. And all of those components kind of put together means that I can deliver bad news or be direct, but not in a way that's hostile. You know, there's really a difference between being kind and being nice. Being nice is like, anyone can be nice and smile and say, hi, how are you doing? Versus being kind might mean having a difficult conversation. But that's a truth and a truthful and a transparent conversation to have that could, yeah, sting in the short term, but that's really going to benefit you, the company, the person that you're talking to in the long run. So I really think it's, for me, kind of how I want to see leadership evolve in the future is like, I would love brutal honesty, but brutal honesty doesn't have to be brutal. It just means that we're able to have real conversations with each other without getting into screaming matches or, really creating a bigger level of conflict than necessary, and just like holding space for people. Because sometimes it's like, I recognize what we have to discuss is not fun, and we have to do it anyways. So maybe we need to take breaks or a breather. Maybe we need to take space. Maybe we need to check in more with each other. Maybe we need to go for a walk or have a drink or a coffee together, and reconnect on that human level. So I don't think AI is ever going to replace the empathy and the honesty that we as humans can bring. And so I would say that's definitely my superpower.
Being perceptive of what the other person wants is one quality that I don't think AI can ever replace. True. What do you think is one assumption or stereotype people often make when they hear that you work in AI?
I think they think that I'm a developer, right? That everyone just is like, okay, that I must, like, I don't know, be a coder or something, or that I must know everything about AI for all industries. And what we do is obviously highly specialized. It takes a lot of different skill sets, a lot of different types of personalities to come together to create what we do. I think that's the biggest misconception, is that someone maybe just with more of a marketing or a business background knows anything or everything about AI.
But out of all the projects that you've been a part of at contextflow, is there one that made you feel, okay, this is why I do what I do?
I really love pitches and presentations. We are the proud recipients of both an EIC grant and EIC investment, so European Innovation Council. And I was the one that pitched for both of those things. And that's a total of basically the EIC, when it comes to investment, they'll do matching funds. Between those, either grants or investments and additional VC investments, I'm really proud to say that I've helped this company get more than 17 million euros of funding, right? It keeps the lights on. Like, we're still a small company, we're still a startup. It's absolutely necessary. So that makes me feel really good to serve my colleagues in that way. We are the first radiology AI to get reimbursement in Europe. And this was obviously a company-wide project, but that I played a key role in. to develop that health economics model, to be in contact with what's called the Healthy Hub out of Germany. So that's a group of public insurance companies that have come together to support new technologies on the market, and to be able to do that application and create the deck and go and pitch to them in German, actually, which usually I'm pitching in English. So that was another layer of complication. And yeah, that was just really rewarding to be selected by them, and then to be working on this pilot, where we then got the reimbursement code. And now to even extrapolate on that, to take that use case and work towards reimbursement in other countries, to work towards expanding that within Germany, that makes me feel really proud, because we are shifting the go-to market in our industry, which simply means that more people are going to be able to access use of this tool, and more patients are going to get the benefits of the tool. And that's ultimately, at least what I am here for, right? Is I'm a patient at the end of the day as well, and I want the best care that I can receive. So why would I want that for everyone else? So it just makes me really, really proud to be working in this industry, really pushing boundaries and changing the future of how care is going to be delivered. And unfortunately, in healthcare, a lot of that really has to do with the finances. So if we can make it such that the finances work and it's a win-win-win situation for, the payer, the provider, and the patient, then I'm happy my work is done.